does it? Just because it's so connected to what we're learning, I just want to go over for a couple minutes some of the points I made last night with the women. If your wife was here and she told you to share, I apologize. If you look, anyway, so do me a favor, this is Kedai. If you get a chumash for a minute, just follow along with me, because the sukkim. The Torah says in Lech Lecha, just so it fits into exactly what we're learning. The Torah says in Lech Lecha, everybody knows that Avram and Lot came from Mitzrayim, and they came up through Eretz Yisrael. They came up from the Negev, and they went all the way up until Hebron, Elonei Mamre, which is Hebron, which is in Hebron. And there, the Torah says, they were so wealthy from what the Egyptians enriched them and the bracha that they had. So they were started to fight. The Roei Abraham and the Roei Lot were fighting. The shepherds were fighting, and there was not a like Nasa Haaretz. So it was very interesting pasuk over here. The land couldn't farchog. The land couldn't handle it. In Parak Yud Gimel, the Torah says in pasuk Vav, "V'lo nasa oisam haaretz l'shavas yachdav." The land couldn't carry them, that they could live together. There wasn't enough grass for everybody. They couldn't live together. And the Canaanim were in the land. So here's Abraham and Lot. So they were walking cities. In other words, they had people, they had sheep, they had shepherds. It was a whole. And then there were Canaanim all around, so they separated. Vayomer Avram el Lot, and Avram said to Lot, Al not tehi meriva beini ubenecha ubein royai ubein royecha. I don't want there to be a war between us, Abraham and Lot. Ki ad lashem achim anachnu. Why should we fight? We're brothers. And he said to him, Kol haaretz lefanecha. The whole Eretz Yisrael is here for you. And they were exactly in Hebron. Elonei Mamre, in that area. We don't know exactly where they were at this point, but they came up from the Negev. They were somewhere in the center of Eretz Yisrael. He said, "Look around. The whole land is yours. You can take whatever you want. Kipari name alai. Go away from me. Small. You go to a new place. It's your choice. You want to go to the left? I go to the right. Im hayomi nasmili. You want to go to the right? I go to the left. Your choice. This was an unbelievable land for peace agreement." I'll give you whatever you want in Eretz Yisrael. Abi, we shouldn't be fighting. Vayisa Lot is Einav. So Lot looks around, picks up his eyes. Vayaris kol kikar hayarden kichula mashke. He looks at the kikar hayarden, which was east. Kichula mashke lifnei shaches Hashem estoim v'samayir kikan Hashem karetz Mitzrayim. The story, the haficha of stone did not yet happen. That happens in Vayera. It didn't happen yet. So it was beautiful. Not only was it beautiful, but it was the most lush land in Eretz Yisrael. Yav HaMelech, which was today desert, right? Yav HaMelech. That was the most beautiful place. Vayivchar Lot as Kol Kikar Yarden. So Lot said, "Okay, I'll go there." Vayisa Lot mikedem v'yipardu ish me'al achiv. So what's important to know here is that, in other words, the Yam HaMelech as we know it, did not exist. There was no Yam HaMelech. What there was the Yarden, and the way the water system works in Eretz Yisrael, Pshat and Chumash, the way the water system works in Eretz Yisrael is the water originates in the Har Hermon, From Har Hermon, it comes down the mountain, fills up the Mayanot, and the Mayanot it comes out in Banyas, or as the Gemara calls it, Pamayas. It comes out in Banyas. That's the beautiful waterfalls. That's where the first place where we see water in Eretz Yisrael. From there, it goes down the mountain, or up a barg, and it fills up the northern Yarden. From the northern Yarden, it goes and it fills up the Kinneret. From the Kinneret, it goes, there's a stream, the Gemara says, goes right through the Kinneret. It gives some, but there's some of it that goes straight. There's fresh water that goes through into the southern Yarden. From the southern Yarden, it goes down, and it reaches down, and here's where the Chorban begins. Because at one time in history, before the Haficha of Stoim V'Amoira, the water at that point deltaed into the southern Yarden district, which was called Sodom. And it was the most beautiful place. At that time, Sodom was called Emek Hasidim. What's Emek Hasidim? What does Sidim mean? Sadot. So field, beautiful. It was the most lush, fertile place in Eretz Yisrael because that was that's where all of the water of the whole Eretz Yisrael ended up there. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. There was no Yav HaMelech. So that was called the Kikar HaYarden. That was the Kikar HaYarden. After, what happened was, because it was a lower area, it was Emek Hasidim, because it was a lower area, and the water would fall in there. Once Hashem put in Gofris Vamelach, Sreifa Kol Arza, he filled it up with salt, and he put sulfur into the earth. So now that salt and sulfur, although it's good for taking away acne and things like that, but it doesn't have, you can't grow papayas in the Yam HaMelech any longer. So that changed everything. But what the Lot saw was the Kikar HaYarden. Shot in what happened over there. The Lot Yashav, it was just an interesting pasuk, which is why we're learning Chumash here. Vayisa Lot Mikedem. Now they were in the center of Eretz Yisrael, and to the west was the Mediterranean, right? To the west coast of this country leads the Mediterranean. The east coast leads the Yarden, Jordan, and the east bank of the Yarden, right? And then on the bottom of it all is Sodom. So why does it say that Lot left Avraham Vayisam Mikedem? He left from the east. Anybody have chat while we're here? Pella in the Chumash. So it wasn't the Chumash. We would Nasa Me'etzel Avram V'halach Le'Marove Shel Avram. He went to Avraham's west.
Well, maybe it's just talking about.
Is that true? The Moshe you're quoting Rashi. What does Rashi say?
Rashi says he took him away from the Kadmon Shalom, right?
Okay, Medrash Haggadah. What's the pshat?
Pshat.
He says pshat before he says the Medrash Haggadah. He skipped the whole. Nasa me'etzel Avram mi'mizrachai v'halach le'marav eshel. I think, by the way, the Archaim says, it was very cute, if you will. What do the Mefarshim here say? That the pshat was that he decided, he looked around Eretz Yisrael. Avraham Avinu said, take whatever you want. He decided he's going to go for the Kikar HaYarden because it was green, it was fertile, it was beautiful, it was gashmius, palm trees, coconuts, gorgeous, right? Boca, he's going to Boca. Avraham Avinu is here in Eretz Yisrael. This is a spiritual quest. It's all about ruchnius. So Lot was embarrassed. One of the Mefarshim say that what's he choosing now? Going to is he going to Florida? He's going to Eilat. What's he doing? So he went the other way. He says, okay, I'll pick whatever I want, and he went the other way. And then when Avraham Avinu wasn't looking, he made a parsa. He went over to the east coast. A little bit shvach. The Pashat of Pshat, I think the first part of Rashi is that Avraham Avinu was further away from the Kikar HaYarden. He was closer to the Kikar HaYarden, so he went for the Mizrach of Avraham Avinu.
Right.
So Avraham Avinu was the point over here. Not that he went Mizracha, but he went Mikedem, and that's how Rashi can come up with a drasha. Ani Choshev that he left Lifnei the Bayer Olam, meaning it's the same thing. In other words, he left the Shechina, Kilo, to go to move to travel east. Okay.
Rashi's shot is that he went from east to west.
He went from Nasa me'etzel Avram me'mizracho. I have my parentheses. You have that?
No, but you
have this parentheses me'mizracho?
Mimizrach.
Mimizrach.
Oh, and my fancy chumash says Mizracho. Basically, I know it's a shver pasuk to me, but I want to get to the point that we'll get to, what we spoke about last night. Here's the situation. Avram Yashav Beretz Kadav and like Yashav Area Kikar. So this is called the Area Kikar. The cities of the Kikar. Area Kikar. Bayal at Stove, and he had his olive all the way along the Kikar Haryardei. That's called the Kikar. It's all the way along the Kikar Yardei, which is obviously the most fertile part of Eretz Yisrael, along the Kinneret, along the Yardei, and then what is now called the Yam HaMelech. Emet Hasidim, the most no Yam HaMelech. It was beautiful, perfect. That's where he had his olive. At Sodom. Sodom, by the way, is not where we think Sodom is. Sodom, biblically speaking, is Trans-Jordan, in Jordan, on the east bank of what's today the Yam HaMelech. That's where Sodom is. So where they show you Lot's wife, that's Lot's wife. You can see her tichel and everything. Lot's wife. So how'd she get across the Yam HaMelech? What's the answer? There wasn't a Yam HaMelech. It was easy to get across. This was a simple thing. There was no Yam HaMelech until after the Hamicha. So at this moment she was still able to run, and she looked back, and what did she see before she turned into salt? Salt. She saw the Yam HaMelech. That's when it took place. And now the Torah puts in a footnote. He went until Stone. And you should know, Agav, this has nothing to do with the story at all, that the people at Stone, later on, there's a story about Hashem wanting to destroy Stone, but right now there's no story about this. This is a story about Lot moving away from Avraham Avinu. You should know, now, we'll learn some Chumash. Now that, says Rashi, now that Lot, Rashi does not like Lot. Over and over again, he criticizes Lot. If you just read the Chumash, there's nothing wrong with Lot. But we don't know who Lot is. I don't think he said a word. Can somebody quote Lot? What did he say? What did he do? He was there. He was just like there. Lot. The nephew, Lot. He was successful.
He didn't say anything. That's his praise, actually.
The omission. Yeah, it was good. So, anyways, Lot left. Now that Lot left, so Rashi tells us the Shechina could be shared around Avraham Avinu completely. And Hashem spoke to Avraham and he said, Sana, now Acharehi parid Lot me'imo. Now that Lot left him, Hashem said to him, Sana einecha, now you pick up your eyes. Lot picked the Kikar Yardei, but you pick the rest of Eretz Yisrael is yours. Sana einecha u'rei min ha'bakim asher at Hashem tzafayna v'legva v'kedva v'yavach. North, south, east, west. It's all yours. He was only able to have this Gilui Shechina because Lot left. That's very interesting, by the way. Avraham Avinu had walked from Mitzrayim all the way up the Negev, all the way to Hebron. This is what, a 6-hour drive? It's a lot of. It's a big walk. He walked this whole way. This did not count in the acquisition of Eretz Yisrael. It was only now, at this moment, where light was pirate from him, and Hashem told him, now walk. Now everywhere he walks becomes extremely important. Everywhere he walks, he's making a kiddush in Eretz Yisrael. This was the Dalet Amos of Eretz Yisrael. It was only from this point on. And he said to him, also, I'll give you another bracha now. Hashem said to him, "Esapti yisaracha ka'af ha'aretz asher im yuchal ish libno yisasaf ha'aretz gam zaracha yimoneh." Agav, the couple of things here. Lot looked at Sodom, or at the Kikar Yardei, and he said, I see two things here. What are the two things? I see two things when I look at the Kikar Yardei. I see green, but what does it look like? It reminds me of Kigan Hashem Ukeretz Mitzrayim. Pesach. What's Gan Hashem? Reminds him of Gan Eden. In fact, I think that's the only thing that Lot said. You keep telling me I can go wherever I want. I'm going to Gan Eden. And then Ukeretz Mitzrayim. So Eretz Mitzrayim, in other words, looked Kigan Hashem. Eretz Mitzrayim looked like Gan Eden. Hebron, Chazal point out, was the exact opposite. Where Avraham Avinu, although there were forests there, it was rocky, it was stone, it was arid, as it is till today. You can't go to Hebron without getting dusty. It's the opposite of the So, you would have wanted Avraham Avinu to go to the Kikar Hayarte, the Lot to stay here, but okay, this was, as I say, the great land for peace, movement that was done. Kumi Salish Baris La'arka L'Rachba Ki L'chad Nena V'yel Avra V'yavai V'yishu V'loinei Bavrei Asher B'Chevron V'yiven Sham Mizbeach L'Hashem. Since Hashem gave him this bracha in Chevron, he built a Mizbeach there, and it became a Makom Kaddish. That's where he wanted to bury Sarah. That's where he wanted to be buried. Obviously buried. It became it was there in Chevron. You go to Chevron, this is the Kavanah. It was there that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us Eretz Yisrael, gave Avraham Avinu Eretz Yisrael, and he said, Yezaracha Ka'afar Ha'aretz, which you can relate to when you're in Chevron. There's a lot of Afar Ha'aretz in Chevron. Okay, now this is not what I wanted to talk about. But this is just setting the stage. Here's the part of the Chumash that everybody skips. Vayihi b'mei Amrafel. Look what's going on over here. Vayihi b'mei Amrafel melech Shinar Aryoich melech Halasar Kedar Loimer melech Elam Mesido melech Goyim. Unimportant. Who are these guys? Who are these guys? So I'll tell you who they are. Amrafel, Rashi says, was Nimrod. Why? Because he said to Avraham Avinu, he threw him into the Kivshan Ha'esh, he said to him, Omar, Poil. You. In the Kivshan Ha'esh. Abar Poil. So they nicked him. It was a Derech Gedai because Avraham Avinu stuffed them out when he came out of the Kivshan Ha'esh alive in one piece, unscathed. Avraham Avinu, they started to call, you, Abar Poil. Amrafel. But he was a superpower. Melech Shinar, we're talking about the king of Bavel. Melech Shinar, Shinar's of Bavel.
The cradle of civilization.
Huh?
The cradle of civilization.
Cradle of civilization. Moshe, do me a favor. Right by my stender, there's a photocopy with a map. I'll show you something.
This one?
Yeah. As many as you want. just so you see. It's interesting. It's Eretz Yisrael, right? Recognize it? Eretz Yisrael. Like nothing changes. Eretz Yisrael is a little dot over here. Yam HaMelech on this map doesn't exist because there was no Yam HaMelech. Came later. Here's Shinar, Iraq. Right. Underneath it is Elasar, working into Persia, Iran. Melech Elasar, the Ramban says this. We're talking about the Arba Malchias all came from here. The other Melech was from up here, Turkey. Where we're talking about these four Melachim, Amrafel Melech Shinar, Aryoich Melech Halasar, Kedar Laomer Melech Elam Vesido Melech Goyim was a coalition, Ramban says, of all the other little nations around. Talking about the whole USSR. Well, that's not really USSR. In other words, it's Turkey and beyond, but yeah, the USSR in the sense of the coalition. United States of America, well, to be more positive. So they were all together. This was basically the whole known world, except for Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim was there, and the Near East was there, and we're the Middle East. Middle East, Adam. These were the superpowers of the world. Nobody was stronger than Nimrod, who was Amrafel, and Kedar Laomer. These were the mighty armies of the world. So the Torah tells us a story here. Asu Milchama, they made a war as Bara Melech Stoim, as Birsha Melech Haber, Shida Melech Adma, V'Shevever Melech Tzvayim. Down here, you can hardly see, in Sodom, the Dead Sea region, there was 4 districts, and the 4 districts were called Sodom, Amorah, Admah, and Tzvayim. They were all there in what's today called the Yam HaMelech. Nothing, garnishment garnished. And the 4 kings of the world made a milchama with the 4 mayors of Sodom. Well, it's not a milchama, it's a joke. It's a milchama. Why? What was the milchama? So says the Torah, Kol Eila Chavru Al Emek Hasidim. They all got together in Emek Hasidim. Which is what? Says the Chumash, Hu Yam HaMelech. Portion of Chumash. Emek Hasidim, because it was so fertile at that time, everything grew under what we call the Yam HaMelech. It was so fertile because the whole Yarden dumped into it, and it was beautiful. Hu Yam HaMelech. Shtei Masri says Yam HaMelech Al Shem Ha'asi. The Torah is giving us a poster. What?
Seed lunch?
No, that's what the Samach. That's what the Sadot. We say Sadot, they say Sadim. Shtemes Reishana, what was this war about? Says the Torah. Shtemes Reishana Abadu was Kedar Loimer. For 12 years, Chazal say they were paying taxes to Kedar Loimer. They were part of this district. And therefore, in Eretz Yisrael, here in the Kikar HaYarden, where Lot picked, so they were paying taxes, Kedar Loimer. They were basically under the government of Kedar Loimer. Ushleishis Reishana Maradu, for 13 years, they said enough is enough, we don't want to pay them taxes anymore. Eretz Yisrael. Why should we pay taxes to those? Ubarbes Rishana, so came the 14th year, Ba Kedar Laomer V'amlachim Asher Itai, so Kedar Laomer and his fellow kings. So Kedar, it's interesting that we went from Amraphel being the top gun to Kedar Laomer being the top gun. By the way, the Targum Yonasan Ben Uzziel says in a little bit, just a good idea, that Eliezer, Eved Avram, Damasek Eliezer, was a son of Nimrod. It says in the Targum Yonasan Ben Uzziel. Keep that in mind. He was the biggest Neman. It was almost like David and Yonasan.
Was he a Knani?
Knani.
You mean Nimrod was from Chum?
Yeah.
So that's a machlokes who he was. The Targum Yonasan Damasek, was he from Damascus? There's all kinds of machlokes. The Targum Yonasan Ben Uzziel says that he was the son of Nimrod. Maybe there was Nimrod had a wife. So anyway, so the Torah says like this: Barba Esrei Shana, in the 14th year, all of these big nations over here, they decide enough is enough. We're going to get these Sodomites. Like it's like a mosquito, you know. We're going to get the Sodomites. So what do? Take a look. If you have a copy of this map, if not, just with me. They come into Eretz Yisrael. This is, by the way, from the Mosad Rav Kook map, the Mosad Rav Kook Tanakh. They all come together with their armies. Maybe they had 100,000 people in their army. They come across to Eretz Yisrael, and they come in from the north, because that's the way you come without having to cross the desert. So they come into the north, from the Chumash. And what do they do? Look at this. Vayaku es Rafayim ba'ashtrois karnaim es hazuzim b'cham es ha'emim b'shavet kiryasayim es ha'chayri b'haroram seir ad el paran asher al hamidbar. They come in, and they're not going for the rebels in Sodom, right? The protesters in Sodom, the spring in Sodom, which is not going to allow. We're no longer going to pay taxes to these superpowers. What they do is they come in from the top of Eretz Yisrael, which is called Rafayim. Who was from Rafayim? Anybody remember? What do we know about Rephaim? Besides for base tefillah. What do we know about Rephaim? Og Melech Habashim Yotzei Rephaim, for instance. So they came into the north of Eretz Yisrael. They came to Rephaim by Yaakov, killed everybody. They went down to Zuzim, killed everybody. All these were the populations of the Kikar HaYarden. And all of the big Arabs here, the Iranians and the Iraqis and the Turks, they all came in, they killed everybody in Rephaim, they killed everybody in Zuzim, they killed everybody in Kiryasayim, killed everybody in Abim, they killed everybody in Chayrim. They keep on going down, and they went all the way down till Midbar Para, meaning they overshot Sodom by about 50 kilometers. They overshot Sodom, the army came down while the going is going good, they killed and they killed and they killed. So the Torah, Yaakov. Ad El Paran, they went all the way to El Paran, Asher al Hamidbar, meaning where it became desert again, what we call today the Negev. So they went until the Negev, V'yashuvu, what they called them the Negev also. V'yashuvu v'yavayu al Ein Mishpat. Ein Mishpat's at the very bottom of the map. What happened in Ein Mishpat? He Kadesh. What happened there? Wait a minute, got to be Haber
Barnea?
Kadesh Meimeriva. Meimeriva. So it's Kadesh. This is where Moshe Rabbeinu was standing in Kadesh, the Gvul of Eretz Yisrael. They covered the Gvul of Eretz Yisrael. They came to Kadesh. And why was it called Ein Mishpat? Al Shem Asad, because that was the Mishpat where it was decided that Moshe Rabbeinu is not going into Eretz Yisrael. Ein Mishpat. He Kadesh, Vayaku is Kol Stei HaMaleki. Who was Amalek? Amalek wasn't born yet. Amalek was the grandson of Asa. But it was already called, all of these names are all Shem HaAsim. It's called what we call today Stei Amaleki. Begames HaMoiri, HaYoshe B'Chatzotzayin Tamar. They went all the way up to Chatzotzayin Tamar. There's a place today, Chatzotzayin Tamar in the Dead Sea. It's called En Gedi. Look at the sign. And En Gedi is called Chatzotzayin Tamar. So, because Tamarim grow there. So they came, look what they did. They came in from the whole Middle East, or whatever this is called, Near East. They came into the top of Eretz Yisrael, killed all the, in other words, they went down Kvish Tishim Mizracha. They went down the 90, down, any population that was there, and there were many. The Achsich in the Medrash Tanchuma says a number that, it was, I don't know whether it's a guzma or not, but millions and millions of people were killed in this war. Millions of people. This was the strongest army in the world. Eretz Yisrael, why did they even do this? Because in Stone they didn't want to pay taxes. Hello? Stone they didn't want to pay taxes. They paid taxes from millions of people, even from Eretz Yisrael, even from the Klalim and the Amorim. We're killing everybody. We're shaking us. They're killing everybody. And they circle Sodom. They come all the way up to, here's Kadesh. They come all the way up to Chatzotzayin Tamar, which is, on this map, an eighth of an inch away from Hebron. So En Gedi and Hebron are actually close. If you look at the map, En Gedi and Hebron are actually close to each other, and there they stopped. So here's the Russian army, right? They're all around Eretz Yisrael. So then what happens? I feel almost guilty telling you a story, a war story, a strategy story. It was Chumash, right? And it's so nogei us. What happens after this whole massacre and conquering of Eretz Yisrael that they did because the Stomites didn't pay their taxes? So the Chumash, Vayetze Melech Stom, Melech Hamayro, Melech Admo, Melech Tzvoyim. So these poor little kingalach who thought they were, knows what, they Melech Bela Hitzoyer, Vayarchu Itam Milchama. This is a Milchama or it's a joke? Vayarchu Itam Milchama Be'emek Hasidim. And here the battlefield was what we call today the Yam HaMelech. That was the battlefield. And there was a battle that went on between, and who won this battle? No miracles. These were not Jews. No miracles. They lost the battle, because of course they lost the battle, just like Rephaim and Zuzim and Chorim, and of course they lost the battle. As Kedar Loimer Melech, Vayarchu Itam Milchama Be'emek Hasidim, as Kedar Loimer Melech Elam, Hasidim Melech Loim, V'amrava Melech Shinar, V'aryach Melech Olasar, Arba Melachim Es HaChamisha. The 4 kings won the 5 kings, naturally. The 4 superpowers of the world won 5 backward Stomites. Ve'emek Hasidim, and you should know something about the Yam HaMelech, says the Chumash. Be'eros chema. It was like a mud. It was so full of water. It's a good thing. It's a compliment. It was a hard battlefield though, because it's mud, and when there's mud, it's hard to run. So it was be'eros chema. They looked at it and they remembered the Migdal Bavel, where they discovered that they could use bricks and mortar. They invented levanim v'chemar. And where do you get chemar from? From the gibul of mud, cement. So this was like Vayanusu Melech Stoim. They chased out Melech Stoim v'Amora v'Yiplu Shama. They killed them there. V'Hani Sharim, says Rashi, and the Melech Stoim. This one guy, Haharo Nasu. He ran out to the mountains. So here we have a situation where the entire United Arab Republic comes, conquers all of Eretz Yisrael, because in Stone they didn't pay taxes. Why did they pay taxes? Shali, shalach, shalach, it'll be this time. Why should we help? We're paying taxes. What are we helping civilization? Helping? Shali, shalach, shalach. We're not going to pay taxes. They take over the whole Eretz Yisrael all the way up to En Gedi, and they kill everybody, including the 4 Malachim which caused this problem to begin with. And the Melech Stom, Hanisharim, and whoever was left ran out into the caves across Kvish Tishim. There's a lot of caves over there. They ran into these caves and they hid. Vayikhu, and what do the United Arab Republic do? Vayikhu is kol rechush stoim amayra ves kol achlam vayilechu. It's a basic pasuk though. They take everything they could find in stove. They took stove. They took kol achlam. Yichu is kol rechush. They took their money. I understand that. It's called Oslov. What do they take there? Sandwiches?
Snacks.
Snacks, peanut butter. What do they take? Coffee. So I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I think. I think why do they take their food? Like they're the richest people in the world. They're so worried about the taxes that they go steal the fruit out of the refrigerators in Sodom. It's kol achol. They took all their food because there was food there they never saw before in their life. Eva Kasidim. There was things here that never saw papayas, they never saw avocados, they never saw these type of things. You don't see this in Bavel. Yamamelech. And here's where our story begins. V'yichu es light, they captured Lot. Important. Ves rechushai, and Lot's whatever he owned, ben achi Avram's nephew, vayelechu. Hu Yoshe B'Sdom, this whole time, says Rashi, explains his pasuk, Hu Yoshe B'Sdom, he was sitting in Sodom. When they captured Lot, they took their food, they took their rechush. The rechush was you'll see later in the Pesukim, it includes all the women, that was called rechush, took all the money, took everything they could take, and Lot. Stands out. Took Lot. Why did they take Lot? Vayovoy Polit, says the Torah. Now, who is the Polit? Og Melech HaBashem. He survived, according to this Girsa, the massacre of Rephaim. And we also know that he was Polit Mi'amabul. He survived the Mabul. He was a survivor. Big guy. He goes to Hebron. Now, Avram Avinu, this whole time, this whole war is taking place. This was like, like somebody told me that a couple of days ago they went to a chassid in Bnei Brak. Like, no wars, no rockets, like that. Like they have a talcha from the Chazanish that they're okay. They weren't bargish the whole Milchama in Bnei Brak. It's happened. Okay, so Avraham Avinu is sitting in Hebron, Ki'ilu, oblivious to this whole takeover of Eretz Yisrael. Haloi Davarhu. So the Yog Melech HaBashem comes to tell Avraham Avinu, who shoiched be'loinei Mamre, who's in Hebron, Ha'moiri, and be'loinei Mamre Ha'moiri Achi Ashkel Achi Honor Hein Balei Bris Avram. Avraham Avinu is sitting with Kenanim, and he's comfortable sitting with them. They're Balei Bris, and he told them that what? That your nephew has been captured. They have a hostage. Vayishva Avram ki nishva achiv. Avram hears that Lot gets his brother. Wasn't his brother, but he calls him his brother. Was captured, was taken hostage. Vayorek es chanichav, and he arranges his yeshiva bachrim, his chanichim. Yelidei beisai. He pulls together his beis medrash. Shmoina asur shloish me'os. 318 people. 318 people with Avraham Avinu against what might have been 100,000 soldiers, which proved their might took over the whole Eretz Yisrael. Here they are. Avraham Avinu is sitting in the middle. He goes out with his 318 Bachrim Chanichav, and he says, "Let's make a Milchama Gevaldik." But what happens with Avraham Avinu? By Yer Doifad done. He chases them up to the Golan because they're right there by him. Apparently, they're somewhere between Sdom and En Gedi. He chases them until Dun. Dun is the Golan. Avraham Avinu fought with them all night and killed them all. You can go to, there's a place now in the Golan called Chova, and it's Mismol Damasek. It's Damasek. Here's the man. You can see Damascus from this point. You can go there and read this passage. There's a place. It's a military. What do they call it? Bunkers from Yom Kippur. Military bunkers. You can go there. It's an unbelievable bunker. You can sit there and you're looking mamish down. I don't know if you should go there today, tomorrow, but you can go there and you can look down at not just Syria. You can see Damascus. It's so close to Damascus that random bullets are hitting our soldiers right now. Random bullets. That's what we're talking about. That area has now become a battleground, which I say it's not a good idea. It's a Syrian battleground. He chased him till there. There he saw the Klal Yisrael did an Avera with an egel. So Toshash Koichai Rashi says, I can't push them any further. Now remember that Avraham Avinu was told that walk the land l'orchel l'rachel. If not for this, we would not have the Golan today. What happened over here is Avram Avinu chased them by him walking. Every step that he took was gewaldic, every step that he took, because it was a kibush for us. So he pushed them all the way until done, and there, mamish, where he stopped, Tashash Koychai, he didn't go until Damascus. If he would have taken Damascus, that would have been Eretz Yisrael l'chayr. He went until Damascus, and I think Yeshayahu makes this point, that the Gvul of Eretz Yisrael is Ad Shahalach Eisana Azrachi Ad Damascus, in the Lashon of Yeshayahu, until the Eisana Azrachi went until Azrachi. Until he went, which was until Damascus. Beautiful.
Why suddenly over there he got weak? Because they go, why not like the middle of...
Not the eagle. Not the eagle. There's an Avodah Zarah that took place in he saw, not the eagle, an eagle. Different story. Rashi says.
Which will be later.
Shom Tasha's Choychai Shirash Hasin Bait Shom eagle.
Is that under Yerubim?
Yeah. Now, let's go quickly here, even though this is where we should go slow. Vayoshev is kol harechush. What's this whole story for? I mean, I hope I made it entertaining for you. But what's this whole story for? What's okay? There was a war. Listen to this. Vayoshev is kol harechush. They gave back the Iranians and the Iraqis and the Turks gave back everything that they took. Okay, so now Avram Avinu's got money, he's got food, he's got sandwiches, peanut butter cups, he's got everything that they took. Urchusha Hashim, Gabes Hanoshim, Gabes Hab, they gave back everything. Vayetze Melech Stoim, and here's Avram Avinu sitting rich, sitting secure in Eretz Yisrael, knocked the Goyim out of Eretz Yisrael, was Koivesh Eretz Yisrael, he's sitting with all of this Rechush, and he's sitting with Lot. L'chayra takes back Lot. V'gamas Lot, not L'chayra, that's what it says. Vayoshem is called a Rechush, and they give him Lot. So now Avram Avinu gets, why did Avram Avinu go into this war? Because Lot was there. So he won, right? Captured a flag. He got Lot. What happens? Melech Stom comes out of his cave. Remember, he ran into the cave? Vayetze Melech Stom l'krosai. Melech Stom comes to Avram Avinu. Acharei shuvay me'hakoises kedor lo'omer v'samlochem asher itay alemek shavei hu emek hamelech. He makes a meeting with Avram Avinu in the Emek Hamelech. Where's the Emek Hamelech? Who knows about David HaMelech? He lived in the Emek Hamelech in Yerushalayim. Meaning Hebron and Yerushalayim are very close to each other. Avram Avinu now went to Yerushalayim, which was at that time called Emek Hamelech. He went there. And how do we know he went there? Look at the Torah further. Well, Malki Tzedek hu Melech Shalem. The king of Yerushalayim was Malki Tzedek. So where did Malki Tzedek pop into this? Because Malki Tzedek was the king of Yerushalayim, and Avram Avinu was now in Yerushalayim. So he moved himself from Elonei Mamre to Emek HaMelech. Rashi says that after this war, they crowned him the king of Israel. That's a Nasi, it's a Parnes. Emek HaMelech, Beis Risa de Malka. Medrash Agana Emek Shehush V'Sham Kol Omas V'Imlichu Es Avram Alehem L'Nas Nasi Elokim L'Katzin. You are the man. Avram Avinu, you're the man. Sitting in Yerushalayim, who comes for his first meeting with Avram Avinu? First he goes to Malki Tzedek. Malki Tzedek Melech Shalom Hoitzi Lechem V'Yoyin. He breaks bread with Malki Tzedek, and Malki Tzedek blesses him, and he gives him money from all of this millions of dollars that he had. Very nice. And then the king of Stone comes for a meeting with Avram Avinu. King of Stone was a loser. Vayomer Avram el Melech Stoim. I'm sorry. Vayomer Melech Stoim el Avram. The Melech Stoim comes to Avram the Mechutza. Tainli hanefesh v'arechush kachlach. You see, the Melech Stone was taking advantage of the morality of Avram Avinu. Whose stuff is this that you have? Whose stuff do you have? You have our stuff. Whose people do you have? Whose women do you have? Whose food do you have? Whose sandwiches do you have? You have everything that they took from us. This is all occupied booty. Give it back. They couldn't have sent this to anybody but to Avram Avinu. Only to Avram Avinu. And what do they say? Melech Stone. Shema Avraham. Shali Shali Shalach Shalach. It's a midas time. Give us what's ours. But they didn't say that. Interesting. They said, "Vayomer Avram el Melech Stoim." They said rather, "Tainli hanefesh, v'arechush kachlach." You could keep it all. Opposite of Stonenkite. Keep it all. We want one thing. Tainli hanefesh. Chazal say, "Give us back who? Lot." Hafla v'vela. What does Avraham Avinu say to this? What should he have said? What would we have said? What do you think, I did this whole war for nothing? I did it to get Lot. Save him. Vayomer Avram HaMelech Stom. You want to give me all this stuff? Harimoisi yodi el Hashem kel el yoin koinei shamayim va'aretz imichut ba'atzroich nal imekach mikol asher lach. I don't want one penny from you. Not a shoelace, not a thread. V'loi soimer, you should never be able to say in all of the history as it unfolds in Eretz Yisrael, Ani hasharti es Avram, that we don't want people talking in the back room and saying, oh yeah, Avram's got a lot of money. You know why? Because he took our stuff. We don't want that. No, take it all back. The only thing I want is Biladai Rakash or Achlan Arm. I have my group of 318 people. The 318 people have to eat something when we keep the sandwiches. Let them take a little bit, but we take it all back. End of the story. What happened to Lot? He gave him back. So, end of the story. What's the story? The story is, this is why it's so gay to us. The whole reason, Ladati, that all of these world powers came to Eretz Yisrael, conquered Eretz Yisrael, went into stone, was to find Lot. The whole reason Avram Avinu entered into the war was to save Lot. It was all about Lot. And then Melech Stone said, you can have everything. We lost the war. Tainli Hanefesh, just do us a favor, give us Lot back. We want Lot. And Avram Avinu says, okay. I don't want your money. I don't want your women. I don't want, and I don't want Lot. Take Lot also. So, and Avram Avinu goes back to Hebron. We got a bracha for Malki Tzedek, and the story goes on. Why? The shot of the story is like so clear that what happened was that Lot. Remember we linked to Medrash Rabbah? Medrash Rabbah says that Ushtei Bonais Timseh. Later on in the Torah, where it talks about the Haficha of Sodom, the two daughters were found there. In fact, the Medrash, what do you mean found there? They had two daughters. What do you mean Timseh? Shtei Metzios Nimtzu. Rus and Naomi were there. They were the B'nai Slight. Medrash says, the Pasuk in Tilim Peites says, here's what Avraham Avinu said, Matzasi as David Avdi. I found David. It says, Omar Reb Yitzchak, Eifoi Matzasa David Avdi, Behine Bestoin. He's Bestoin. The whole point was that light was the Garin, he was the first germ of the Mashiach. This was so important because the whole raison d'etre of Moshe Rabbeinu, of Avraham Avinu, was to be Masakein, the Chet of Adam Harishon. And if Adam Harishon would not have done his Chet, that would have been Mashiach. I'm not talking about the pras of Mashiach. I'm talking about that the Chet was Goyrem Misa Li'olam. The Chet was Goyrem Yetzirah. The Chet brought us wars. The whole idea of bringing the Gula is to undo the Chet of Adam Harishon. This is what we keep on learning. We have to undo the Chet of Adam Harishon. This was Avraham Avinu in the year Alpayim. His job was to undo the Chet of Adam Harishon and Ki'ilu, to bring the Geula, to get back to that Gan Eden situation. What did Light see when he saw Avraham Avinu said, take a look, take whatever you want. I can look at the Kikar Yarden, it's Kigan Hashem. We're back into Gan Eden. It wasn't just stop saying, like we talk about, let's go to Florida, it's Kigan Eden over there. Like, it was Kigan Hashem, I see there, it's Kigan Hashem, but it's also Keretz Mitzrayim. What kind of a dimion is that? It was so perfect. I mean, this world. This is where the Geula is going to come. Geula is going to come from. But Sasi is David Avdi, Behu B'Stoim Avram Avinu. Not only Avram Avinu. The nations of the world recognize we've got to get Lot. Either they want him to Mashiach or they didn't want Mashiach to come. Because once Mashiach comes, they're disenfranchised. Once there's a tikkun, what are the Yom HaSolim for? Let's capture Mashiach. Sodom said. Avraham Avinu says, we need Mashiach. Stone says, we want him back. And he says, okay, why? Because Mashiach has to be in Sodom. Because if Mashiach is not in Sodom, How is it going to be that he's going to have two daughters that are going to do Gilui Arayas and cohabit with their father? This is only Stone thinking. It has to be in Stone. It has to be in the most negative place in the world. The most negative place in the world, in Sodom. That's where it has to be, because that's where the Tzagan Hashem and Kigaretz Mitzrayim. This is what we're talking. It's Kigan Hashem, Kigaretz Mitzrayim. So Avraham Avinu says, sure you can have Stone back. Sure you can have Lot back, because the Mashiach has to come from Stone, and that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. Why was Avraham Avinu davening for Stone? Because we need a Sodom in this world. In order to, we need a Sodom in this world. I worked this out, by the way. Avraham Avinu has 318 chanichim, right? 318. Lot is gematria, quick, 45. 318 and 45 is
363.
363 is the gematria of HaMashiach. This is Avraham Avinu. This was all a tikkun of the Mashiach. Here's the Nakuda. One more minute. What's light doing in Stein? What's Mashiach doing in Stein? Matzasi is David Avdi B'Uva Stein. What's David HaMelech doing in Stein? It's everything that we're learning here. Why does Mashiach have to come from a Kupa Shel Shratzim, of Sodom, of Lot, of Bnei Slight, of Ammon, of Maya, of incest, sodomy? Why does it all have to come from there? Because the tikkun was working differently now. Noach couldn't do the tikkun because he was an Ish Tzadik Tamim. Yitzchak didn't want to give Yaakov the bracha for the same reason. Now Yaakov Ish Tam, like Noach was Tamim, he was Tam. You don't want to give him the bracha because you're not masakin Ra when you're just a tzaddik and good. Who's masakin the Ra? Masakin the Ra is the one who's in the mud, the one with the Yetzer Hara, and the one who can pull us out of that Yetzer Hara. That's the one who's masakin. The one who's what is Malchus if not to show that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you created all kinds of nisyonos in this world, MS, and our job is Malchus Shelcha is to overcome these nisyonos and say this is your world. I'm doing the Ratzon Hashem. Dira b'tachtonim. The Dira b'tachtonim, how does HaKadosh Baruch Hu's kinyan in this world work? How does the Malchus happen in this world? By making the Bechira L'Tayv. And by the way, once there is a Bechira L'Tayv, the next Shtickle Reb Tzaddik that we'll learn on Sunday, once there's the Bechira L'Tayv, once Mashiach comes, no more Bechira Chafshis. No need for it anymore. The Malchus is here. The Malchus is here. What was the Mishkan? It was a choice to make a Mishkan and not to make an Egel. What are you going to do with that gold? That was the question. What are you going to do with that gold? So light has to be the Makor of Mashiach. Look, I'm not making this up. He is the Makor of the Mashiach. Lot is the Makor of the Mashiach. And the Makor of the Mashiach is Sodom. And Avraham Avinu fought for Lot, but he fought that he should be in Sodom. He needs to be in Sodom. I'll give you back Lot. That's where he needs to be, in Sodom. He doesn't need to be with me in Hebron of Yerushalayim. He needs to be in Sodom. That's where he needs to be. Because if he's not in Sodom, this is never going to happen. It's never going to come out. And it's just like when Yitzchak was continuing this line, so interesting. Like he was worried that Yaakov doesn't have the nisyonos. He said, "Tzaddik, Ishtav, Yoshevayolim." That's what it says in the Chumash. He doesn't have the nisyonos to be masakin the chet of Adam Barishon. So what does Rivka do? Show him that you could also be a bit of a tricker. Shasas Gufay, Meir Aglaimi was so nervous about this. He never did anything like this before. So you can also do a little bit of mirma. And when Yaakov Avinu chaps, when Yitzchak chaps, that he gave the bracha to Yaakov, what does he do? He sends him to Lavan. Okay, now you got to go to college to become. you pass the entrance test. Now you got to go to University of Lavan. The University of Lavan is all about trickery, crookedness. This is where you have to do. This is what Yaakov, right?
You already have another line through Moab. Like why is that come? In other words, you have this sort of like the coming out from the mud from the side of Moab. So why do you have to have Yaakov also? Like both sides have to come out from the mud. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So there's a shutfus. There's a shutfus in Mashiach, and this is an excellent point, by the way, and we need to talk about it. The shutfus in Mashiach is exactly this. Avraham Avinu is not the Mashiach. Mashiach comes from light. That's where the Malchus Beis David comes from. So what has to happen is Avraham Avinu is creating Klal Yisrael, and within Klal Yisrael comes the Mashiach, which is coming from his nephew, which is why he's schlepping with him all the time. So it's a love-hate relationship. I love you, Lot. I'm not going to Eretz Canaan without you. Maybe even Terach realized this. This was his nephew. This was his brother's son. You have this very, very important function. I'm not going without you, but not near me.
Why can't the Yaakov side be totally pure, and then the Lavan side?
And this is exactly what's going to happen. What's going to happen, the Gemara tells us, predicts, is that it's not going to be Yaakov, which is going to bring Mashiach. It's Yaakov and Esau. What is the Geula? It's going to be something like the time, says the Gemara, when Rabbi Yehuda Nasi and Antoninos sat and made cholot and radishes together. Hamaleya, Hachareva, usually, and when this is Malay, this is Charuv, one is taking into the other, there's going to come a time where it's going to be Shtei Achim. And this is, by the way, the Nevuah that Sheva Aver told to Rivka. Shtei Achim bevitnich. Lo'oim melo'oim yamatz. This was the Nevuah that he said, that it's got to work together. You need this aggressive side of Esav, and you need the Yaakov Ishtam, but that's the way, that's what Rivka understood, because she heard it from Sheva Aver, and Yitzchak did not understand this apparently, but he was maskim immediately. Gam Baruch, okay, maskim. Okay, yeah, everybody knew that he's the Mashiach.
He didn't want it. He didn't want Mashiach. He was trying to prevent it.
Either that or he was a Christian. We want the Mashiach now. Why implant they have the Mashiach? That's it. It's all about Mashiach.